Let's bring in MSNBC legal analyst and former assistant Manhattan District Attorney Catherine Christian and former public corruption unit chief for the Southern District of New York, Arlo Devlin Brown. Good to see you both. Thanks for coming in on a Friday. Catherine, we're at the end of this trial. So this appellate court ruling saying, no, we're not going to move the trial. That claim or that request is rejected. No, Judge Merchan can stay on this case. I think a lot of these people kind of forgot these things were still lingering. So the timing is interesting, but at the bottom line here, is this just proof that Trump and his legal team is running out of options to defend this or
they
to fight this?
have no options. Obviously, they do. If there's a conviction, then obviously they will appeal that. But this was just the appellate division, quite frankly, tying up loose ends. We're not moving the case. As you said, it's already over. They made the defense, the jury was chosen in 2 days. The people who said they couldn't be fair and impartial were removed. So clearly he can get a fair trial in New York. And in terms of Judge Merchan recusing himself, they said, no, he didn't have to recuse himself. So it's a double loss.
So here we are now, Memorial Day weekend, and I'm imagining that both sides are doing a lot of work this weekend to prepare for summations. What does that prep typically look like, as well as, dealing with the jury instructions, which our understanding is the judge was supposed to give both sides heading into the weekend?
Yeah, so I think the prep, now that the jury instructions are behind the parties, is going to be really for the prosecution. They told a story when they opened about a salacious and really troubling pattern of conduct, but what they didn't do is explain really how it's a crime. And so now they have to go through the evidence at trial, keeping in mind the jury instructions that the judge is going to provide, and sort of marry all of that up into a presentation. And of course, on the other side, the defense is going to be doing two things. They're going to be challenging the prosecution on the facts, and they're also going to be pointing to aspects of the jury instructions and the criminal charge that are difficult for the prosecution perhaps to establish, and focusing on that as well.
And again, we haven't had a chance to see what those jury instructions are going to look like just yet. Our understanding is those could become, available to the media and the public, I suppose, after their closing arguments and after the jury gets those jury instructions. Catherine, I want to get your thoughts on this jury. We know it's a very highly educated group. A couple of lawyers are on the jury. What types of dynamics could factor into how they go about deliberating?
Well, what the prosecution hope is different than the defense. You hope that they are team players, that they get along with each other and will listen to each other and then become a cohesive group and either vote one way. If you're the prosecution, you hope they're voting guilty, or if you're the defense, you hope they're voting to acquit. But so that's what you look for as the prosecutor. You're sort of seeing the dynamics. Already, apparently, they were all poker-faced. They appear not to be talking to each other. So it's really a hard sense of it, but you are hoping when they go back to that jury room, there isn't one person who just says, I'm not going to deliberate. You hope that they all are listening to each other.
Arlo, former FBI Director James Comey said this week he's surprised by the strength of the prosecution's case. Take a listen.
I wasn't sure that I would have when I read the indictment, but now having seen the case, I'm not sure after investigating it how they wouldn't bring it. They had a much stronger case than I imagined. There's an overwhelming chance of a conviction, a significant but much smaller chance of a hung jury, and zero chance of an acquittal.
Arlo, do you agree?
Well, zero chance of an acquittal, you really have to put yourself out there to make that prediction, so I wouldn't go that far. But I do think it's a very strong case that they've put together. I think the prosecution has really given the jury sort of each piece of evidence, and it's sort of very much a piece-by-piece case that they would need to find Mr. Trump guilty if that's what they decide to do. Of course, the wrinkle has always been some of the key pieces come from the mouth of Michael Cohen alone. And so that's, I think, going to be the key issue that the jury's going to grapple with, and it will drive where this verdict goes. I think if they believe Michael Cohen, then I think you have a very strong chance at a conviction. If they don't, I think it's going to be a big problem for the prosecution.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, we'll be here to report it all out in real time. Catherine Christian and Arlo Devlin Brown, thank you both so much for coming in and offering your insights and expertise.